So you don't charm the devil with your rock and roll load. Knows that country music's gonna save your soul. The devil finds his groove in them rhythm and blues. That sound it's gonna get you sun in the air.
Welcome back to the Speakeasy. This is another special bonus Boomerang edition here from lovely Savannah, Georgia. I'm here at Baobab Lounge with Vonnie Ciesla, who is the GM here. Vonnie, thank you so much for sitting down with us.
Thank you.
So to start off, what is a baobab and why is this place named after one of those?
Well, Mr. Kessler really loves going to Africa, and all the taxidermy that you see in the outlet is from his personal collection. Baobab is the tree of life. That's where everything comes from.
Tell me what this tree looks like. I'm unfamiliar. Is it a mythical tree or is it a real tree?
No,
Let's start there.
It's an actual real tree that bears fruit, and we have some baobab powders, and they make tea and everything with the baobab.
Is some of it on the menu? Can we try some of that later? Potentially?
Well, we're gonna have to try something a little bit different.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm excited about
A little bit
that.
different, something else, but not the baobab powder.
You're saying that in a way that makes me believe that like it does something to your body that like,
No.
Okay. We can talk off air about this.
Okay, good.
Tell me a little bit about this room, because this room that we're in here, this sort of lounge area, has a lot of really interesting decor. We've got some leather chandeliers above us here, a lot of really amazing art and some taxidermy. So tell us a little bit about this space and how it was built.
How it was built. Well, Mr. Kessler said that this was his design. So the design team that came in, they wanted to do something. He said, no, this is my room. I'm going to design it. So he came in and handpicked every piece of furniture, all of the rugs. These are family trees that are over here from Africa. So he designed it. And that's why there's no TVs in this outlet either.
I love that about this space. Anytime I'm in a space without a television, I always breathe a massive sigh of relief. Because otherwise I could go with the person I think is the most interesting human being in the world. And if there's a TV, it's like, well, I guess I'm watching the Final Four instead.
Exactly. Yeah. It makes you put your phone down, enjoy the space, enjoy each other. So that's what I really like about being here.
I love that. And the other thing that I love is that I love that we're kind of talking about Mr. Kessler like he's a Rudyard Kipling character, like he's some sort of like, oh yes, Mr. Kessler, a wealthy benefactor who's there but is not explained. But I think maybe we should explain who he is and what his relationship to this space is.
He's the owner of the hotel, and this is his love letter to Savannah. He's a Savannah native, and this hotel was something that he wanted to do to bring the tourism back into Savannah. And this way they would have one place to come. You don't have to ever leave because there's something for everybody on this property.
Tell me a little bit about that, about creating a playground that has something for everyone here, especially because we're right here on the Savannah River. So I imagine there's a lot of foot traffic. And I feel like building something that is for everyone means everyone is always just a little bit dissatisfied. And I feel like it takes a lot of work and time and planning to make sure that when you have something for everyone, all of those some things are good.
Well, we have a big food and beverage department, and it takes a lot of people to make sure that these people are satisfied. Like if you go out into the lobby, there's there's a scavenger hunt for kids. There are dinosaurs on the floor, and they're giving
what?
They're given a map.
Is it just for children? Will you judge me if I go and look for the dinosaurs after? Okay,
I'll
good.
get you a map, and
I'll be right back. Thank you.
No, it takes a lot of people. So it's a group effort for everybody to just come in and feel satisfied. And when they leave this space, I want them to be happy and full.
That's the way I like to live my life, happy and full. So there we go. And you mentioned bringing tourism back, which seems it's a bit hard for me to imagine because I walked here along River Street and there were tourists as far as the eye can see, myself very much being one of them, by the way. So it's hard to imagine this part of town without that. Could you kind of paint me a picture of what it was like before this?
Town was a little seedy.
Okay, interesting. Say more about that.
Yeah, it was a little seedy because it was an abandoned power plant. So, a lot of homeless people and things would come down to this area. But when they built this area up and they wanted to make it someplace inclusive for everyone to come to. So it was just a beautiful time.
And I mean, it's a beautiful space you've built here, and I love working within the existing infrastructure too. Like just outside of this space here, we've got a massive, massive atrium that just has a lot of light and a lot of space. And I love the idea of not demolishing, but working within the thing that already exists.
Exactly. Well, he wanted to keep it true to Savannah. So, and keep the, infrastructure of this building. And it's history, so a lot of people come to see the brickwork and like the old gears that are out there that they can touch and play with.
That has been one of my favorite things about this city that I've been in for only 48 hours now, but and I mean this as a compliment, it feels really old. Like the air, the architecture, the plants, everything
really
feels. How does that inform what you do here? Okay.
Food, the drinks, how we present the cocktails, everything about this place, because like I said, it's for every person. They have Electric Moon that has slides you can go down, and they have these wobbly chairs, and kids go up there until 6 p.m. and then it turns into 21 and over. Outside, we do lots of different things. We have different events that come up, like St. Pat's. We had so much going on, all the live music that's out on the riverfront, and it brings people in. We have pavilions, and they have barbecue and seafood, and then there's burger and beer garden, and there's always something going on.
Let's talk a little bit about Savannah locals, because you said this is a space that's designed to be a love letter to the city. And so I would imagine you wouldn't just want that to be for people from other places.
Absolutely not.
So what is the reception been from people who are native Savannians, from people who have seen a number of generations of the city?
When they walk into this space, they don't even know that it actually exists. They're like, wow, we've never been here before. So this is like a little hidden gem for them to come and seek and find. And when they do, they continue to come back because the drinks and the food are so good.
Well, let's talk about those then. Let's start with the food first.
Okay.
What have you got going on with the food? Give me the elevator pitch and then drill down into it.
Okay. So the elevator pitch is, come try our meatballs. They're the best around. The digging down into it is Chef Alvis is from Kenya. She has come up with these flavors from her home. She comes in every day and she brings part of her heritage with her, and it shows in the food, and you'll see that later. The Zaluk sauce that is underneath the meatballs is a roasted eggplant with garlic, and it's fantastic. And the harissa and the chutney that she puts on top of those meatballs.
So it's meatballs, but they're in an absence of tomatoes, is what you're telling me.
Zero tomato.
I wish more people would realize that eggplant can swap in for tomato in just about any dish and be a magnificent substitute for that.
Oh yeah, I don't eat lamb, but I eat these meatballs because they're delicious.
Okay, I'm extra excited now.
Yeah.
That sounds great. So let's switch gears to the reason why we're all here, the booze.
The
Talk to us about the cocktails. Talk to us about how they're informed by the city.
So the tamarind martini uses Inverrochy gin, which is a fruity, very light juniper-based gin. It's got a woody flavor to it. It's so delicious. It's delicious on its own, but then we combine it with some tamarind syrup, and it makes it elevated, and it's just sweet but sour. And then there's a little rim of sugar and cinnamon on there. It's fantastic. And then we also have our Oasis, which is it's a red pepper shrub with some mezcal, so it's smoky, sweet, delicious.
You had me at red pepper shrub, honestly.
Yeah, that is one of my favorite drinks on the menu right now currently.
So tamarind, why is it like soccer? Is it like one of those things that Americans are just really struggling to wrap their heads around? Why is this ingredient not getting the love it
I
deserves?
think it's a little bit intimidating. It's a pod. It comes in a pod, and then you have to shell the pod. And what do I do with these shells? What do I do with the fruit? How do I do anything with this? You just have to get creative with it.
That's interesting. I never thought, because it doesn't look like an apple or a pear.
No,
So
it's a pod. It looks like something, those things back in the day, those little tree pods that come off of, I think, oak tree all over the ground.
like the one that's outside my window at home that's always dropping about 8 million pods a day on my
Yeah,
sidewalk.
that'd be fun.
I say that with love. Keep up the good work, Tree. You're doing an awesome job. We're a pro tree podcast
yes,
here.
absolutely.
Pro tree, pro pod, pro
Yes,
everything.
we love that.
Yes, we do.
But you can also do so many things with tamarind. It's very versatile. You can make skincare with it. You can make jellies with it. It's really delicious.
So I have this theory that unless you're in a place that's known for being hyper experimental, we're talking like the aviary level experimental. If people are in your bar, they will order a drink that has one ingredient that they don't know on it. But if they don't know what two things are on the menu, they'll, a lot of times I feel like people will be like, yeah, I'm not going to roll the dice on that one and go somewhere else.
A lot of people ask if they can get this drink with vodka. I'm like, no, you don't want to do that. I don't like gin, but this is not your typical gin. It is something that's elevated and elegant. It's not going to punch you in the face with juniper berry. Can I get this with Tito's instead? No, you really don't want to do that because it takes away from the actual drink itself.
It is
Get out of your comfort zone.
Yeah, you can lead a horse to a martini, but
Exactly.
but it takes some nudging sometimes to make
And
them
I'm
drink.
pretty persuasive when it comes to nudging people. to
I'm
try
getting
new
that.
things.
Yeah, I can sense that off of you. You've got a very persuasive air, which is why initially I was like, oh, I don't know if we need. Well, okay, I guess I'll try the meatballs
Yes,
if you
of course.
insist.
Yes, of course I insist.
So let's talk a little bit about the elephant in the room. And I don't necessarily mean these guys behind us. There are a lot of elephants in the room, but the one I'm referring to is that we're in a space that is very highly dedicated to African culture, African art, African animals. And we're two white folks sitting here talking about it. And Savannah also has kind of a complicated history around that. I was talking about an architectural feature that I really liked the other day with someone else I was interviewing. And they said, you know why it's like that, right? And before I could be like, oh, it's not a slavery thing, they were like, it's a slavery thing. So we're down here at the river. That was a big center of a lot of human misery. And I think it's important to acknowledge without being shamey about it, how that kind of fits in. You've mentioned that your sous chef is Kenyan, but how do you sort of walk that line of acknowledging but not minimizing or maximizing that part of Savannah's history?
It's respect.
Okay.
It's all about respect because you don't want to make somebody feel a certain way. But if you present things in a really nice light, a good light, and you're being respectful and you mean it from the heart, people know when you're being false. So I have tells.
I haven't gotten one yet. I
No,
don't
you
feel like you're
haven't.
getting false to me yet.
Yeah. But no, it's all about the respect of the room, respect of everything that's around you.
Do people ask about it ever?
Always.
And what do you say?
100%. We have a book that I'd like to give them out. It tells them about the artists that made all the paintings and everything and what some of these things symbolize. So I think it's just the love of the decor. It's the love of the culture that will make everybody just want to come here and feel this vibe because it's a great vibe to be in.
I mean, I struggle with this as someone who loves the American South and has roots in it, where there's so much to love about it. The climate, the people, the architecture, the food, God, the food. But
The food is fantastic, yes.
there's a lot of skeletons in those closets too. And as we're moving forward, as you're moving forward and trying to kind of create this love letter to Savannah, how does that inform the way that you see cocktail culture going and the city going in general?
That's a tough one. I have to think about that for a second. Cocktail culture is we're using things that are indigenous to Africa. And that also helps with the respect aspect of the cocktail. I can't speak for the other parts of the city because I come to work and I go home.
That's how I know you're a GM. It's just like free time. What?
What is that?
Yeah.
I don't know what that is.
There's work and then there's my house. And sometimes work is my house.
Yes, sometimes. And that's 100% true. But there are exceptions. Like when people come to town, I'd like to take them around. We go on the trolley tours and we go to different spots like the speakeasies because they're lovely, and they're old timey, the sidecars, the paper plane, things of that nature. And it just gives them the history of just drinks in general, going back to the 30s and 20s and 40s. You know what I mean? Because everything old is new again.
There's no such thing as a new idea, but
No.
we can keep recycling the old ones
And make
in
them
new
better.
and exciting ways.
Yes,
Exactly.
Yes. And make them more sophisticated. Make them feel special. And doesn't everybody just want to feel special?
I do constantly all the time.
And included.
That's why I run a podcast. I have one last question before we're going to taste some stuff here, which I'm very, very excited about. Because I mentioned I'm still kind of getting a sense of the flavor of this city, of this place. It feels familiar and yet unique in a lot of ways. I'm having a hard time putting my finger on. How would you kind of describe the Savannah that you know?
The Savannah that I know is loving. It's it's welcoming. It's warm. The community here is something that I've never experienced before, and that's what keeps me in Savannah. I'm from New Jersey. I love Savannah. They took my Northern card when I went home long.
Did you refer to it as prosciutto instead of prosciutto? Is that where they were like, wait a minute?
No, but I love the community here. I feel at home here. There's so much here, but then there's also the beach 10 minutes away. So if you want to go escape, you can. It's a lovely spot. Forsyth Park, walking through the park and just sitting in the park, just gathering all that. It's a lovely experience. And just the people are what keep me here.
I've really enjoyed the fact that Savannah, this is sort of a thought that I had last night wandering around because I went to Pinky Masters because it was recommended to me as yes, the original Pinky Masters.
Yes. Do you see where Jimmy Carter's at?
I saw I think I might have been sitting in Jimmy Carter's seat. Is that the one that has the Carter for President sign next to it?
That is exactly it. Yes.
I sat in Jimmy Carter's seat last night. I had no idea. Wow. See, I was a part of history while I was here and I didn't even know it. But yeah, it's really struck me that the built environment here feels very country club, but the people feel very down to earth and crunchy in a way that I find fascinating.
Yes. I like to there's Charleston, and that's very stuffy. We're not stuffy. We're just humans.
Every time I'm in Charleston, I just go and I hang out at the beach the whole time.
Exactly.
Because that's where the humans are.
Exactly. But yeah, Savannah is it's lovely, and I don't ever want to leave here.
Okay. Well, on the day that I wake up in Brooklyn and I'm just like, I just can't freaking do this anymore, I will see you here.
You will.
But for now, should we try some food and drinks?
We should absolutely try some food and drinks.
Let's do it. So earlier we were talking about the eggplant meatballs, and now here they are. They have appeared like magic here in front of us. I'm really excited to try them. Tell us about the setup here. What do we got going on?
Okay, so the bottom is Zaluk, which is a roasted eggplant puree. It has lots of garlic in there. It is delicious, fresh, vibrant. And on top of that, you have some harissa sauce. And then the chutney is a pepito and raisin chutney on top. And then you have some microgreens on top of it.
Ooh.
And they're lamb meatballs.
Okay.
So the Zaluk and the lamb together, fire.
All right. I can't resist anymore. I feel like I'm a dog with a treat on its nose here. I'm going to go ahead and dive into this.
I know what they taste like.
But I mean, you can always refresh your memory, right?
Yes, they have.
There we go. That's the spirit. Oh my God. There's such a lovely little pop of acidity on there that really helps to kind of offset the gaminess of that lamb. That's really good.
Mm-hmm. It balances everything.
That's so nice.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness. I'm going to have one more.
Yes, please. By all means. That's what they're there for, to eat.
And this is the creation of your sous chef, you said?
Well, we did have some lamb kebabs on the menu last spring. But this time she said we're going to do some meatballs and make it a little, we had a different little sauce on there. It was like a red pepper sauce on there. This elevates everything. Zaluk just makes the whole entire dish just come together.
Was part of that because Americans might be a little skittish around kebab, but find me an American who doesn't know what a meatball is. And okay.
Yeah, exactly. It's appealing to every single person. A meatball. Who doesn't love a meatball?
I love me. Exactly.
Yeah, I want a meatball.
I feel like even my vegetarian friends love like seitan meatballs. Like, yeah, they go nuts for those things. Yeah.
And people, I mean, sometimes they'll ask if they can get it, just the Zaluk. And we have some really nice hummus that has some shishito peppers and pickled okra.
Ooh, okay.
So they're like, can we get some of the Zaluk? I was like, okay, sure.
You know what I love about shishito peppers is the game that you get to play with them, or like one in every 10 is nuclear. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They're so fun. I love them. Yeah. And then that isn't the only thing that we have on this lovely Tiger's Eye bar top here.
We have our beautiful tamarind martini, and that is made with some Inveroche gin, which is the amber gin I was talking to you about earlier. It's very smooth, very woody finish. It's not too sweet. It's very well balanced. It's kind of sour from the tamarind syrup. And you think syrup sweet. No. Tamarind is a very sour kind of taste to it.
Okay, well, let's give this a shot then.
Go right ahead. And it's got the cinnamon sugar rim, and it's fantastic.
I will admit, I'm normally a little wary of a sugar rim, but I trust you. Let's see what we got going on here.
Yeah, and that's why we only do half the rim, because this way you can be the judge if you want to have the rim or not. You're not, locked in.
Oh, wow. I see why you don't do this with Tito's now.
Right?
The tamarind has such a nice, approachable, sweet and sour flavor on there that you need those botanicals to kind of brace it. They're the undergirding underneath of it, the rebar that kind of holds the whole thing together.
Yeah. And that's why I'm like, please don't, just don't, just step out of your
Just
comfort
trust
zone.
me. I promise.
And I do, and I say, and if you don't like it, I'll make you something else. But I know you're going to love it.
That's wonderful. And I want to sort of wade into something I found very interesting about the Martini family recently, because I feel like, let's call it 7 years ago, you would find so many serious bartenders who, if you shook something would and put it in a stemmed glass, would kind of turn their nose up and be like, well, it's not really a martini now. It needs to be stirred, and it needs to be cold, and it needs to be. And then the espresso martini crashed into earth like the meteor that killed the dinosaurs. And all of a sudden, every serious bartender is cool shaking martinis. So first of all, ain't that funny?
It is funny because there's that thing. You don't want to shake a gin cocktail because you're going to
bruise the gin. Yes, we love bruised gin here.
Yes, give me that bruised gin all day.
I love ways to sort of Trojan horse concepts and ingredients that maybe most people will like if they just try it. You know, I think of my parents trying to get me to eat green beans as a kid. Just like, just try it. You might like it. I swear to God. And to me, this almost feels more like it's in a family with like a bee's knees or something like this than like a martini. It feels like it kind of harkens back to the sort of hyphen teenies of the 1990s.
Yes.
But does calling it a martini put it into a form where you find your guests are a little bit more receptive to it, where they're a little bit more, oh, that sounds interesting, I'll try it?
I think so. And then it's the glassware. You know, it's not the typical martini glass. It's not that triangle glass. It's a lovely coupe, which elevates everything. So yeah, it's just, I think it is more approachable, and they'll understand what it is because it doesn't have ice. It's not in a Collins glass. It's not in a rocks glass. So it's just martini.
I mean, I love it. I love it. And I love the ways that you've come up with to take a lot of the flavors we were talking about earlier and put them into really delightful little vehicles like this and like this. And you gave me some of the mezcal shrub, the red pepper shrub drink earlier. Yes, it was delightful. Thank you so much.
That's one of my favorite drinks.
I'm always so wary of anything sweet touching anything that has red pepper in it, but the balance, the tang, that acetic tang. Yes, exactly. Just kind of is such a nice peacekeeper between those two flavors.
Yeah. And it just, the time in there is very subtle, but it's in there and it just brings everything together.
And while we're here in this space, I feel like I'd be remiss if I didn't ask, who's this guy?
That's Brutus.
Oh, okay. Well, no more questions. What's he doing up there?
Well, legend has it that he jumped into Mr. Kessler's boat when he was out and he started doing death roll and they shot him. And that's why he is upside down. Mr. Kessler, I guess, didn't want to get eaten by Brutus.
You know what? I feel Mr. Kessler on that one. I imagine I would also not want to be eaten by this guy.
Yeah, no, I don't think it would be a fun way to go.
Now, I mean, he's sort of preserved like an Egyptian pharaoh. Now he kind of like gets to live forever here, right?
I want to give him a high five every time I see him.
I know he's a vicious carnivore, but I really just want to rub his belly.
Looks so inviting.
I know. It just looks like he'd have just such a nice tummy to rub and he'd be so happy with it.
And then we have our ostriches.
Do you ever get worried about like a night at the museum style phenomenon where they get up and walk around at night in here?
Funny thing. We have a drink on the menu and it's called the Night at the Museum and it's a Cantera Negra, which is a coffee tequila. And it's like an espresso martini, but it's made with tequila and it's fantastic. And I tell people, if you had enough of those, you're going to see a Night at the Museum in here. Those animals are going to come to life.
Okay. Well, you will see me back here at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Awesome.
I'll have a few shots of Fernet over at Pinky Masters and then kind of wander it. Oh, not a Fernet fan over here?
I try so hard to like it. I don't know what it is.
I know what it is. It's because it tastes like medicine and cigarettes. I just happen to really enjoy that flavor. Okay. I know exactly why it is that you don't like Fernet.
That's probably why, yes.
Well, hey, thank you so much for showing me around this place, for the food, for the drinks, and for your wonderful hospitality. Thank you so much.
Very welcome. Come back and see us anytime.
I'll be back here later on tonight to see these folks all running around and doing their thing.
Okay.
Well, that is going to do it for us this week here on the Speakeasy. Be sure to tune in next time for many more great radio programs just like this one. And thank you for tuning into our Boomerang series from Savannah. Catch you next time from wherever we are. But till then, cheers.
So you don't charm the devil with your rock and roll, Lord knows that country music's gonna save your soul. The